I do not talk much about 9/11, in part because 9/11 is not about me. It is about the people in those planes and the people in those towers who lost their lives. It's about those first responders who sacrificed their lives and those first responders who are still with us, but certainly bear the scars of a day that left scars on so many Americans. I did not die, obviously. I didn't have loved ones who died. I didn't get injured. I didn't rescue anyone, and I didn't help in any way once the tragedy occurred. I, like many, was just a bystander. I moved to the United States from Canada in July 1989. That was the date that my wife, and my 2 daughters officially and legally crossed the border to start a new life. Like many immigrants, I came to the United States because I thought that the economic opportunities were just better than they were in the place I came from. Neither of my parents went to university, and my dad did not even finish high school. But I believe someone like me, from humble roots, could make it here. For 20 years, I lived and worked in the United States and took advantage of the economic engine that is America. Even though I arrived from Canada with next to nothing, in those 20 years, I completed my MBA, bought a house, bought investment properties, started a business, raised my children, and made a lot of very good friends. In 2001, I was still a permanent resident, green card in hand, but had never applied to become an American citizen. As it happened, my business at the time involved taking my clients to New York to meet with the Wall Street money guys to fund my clients' companies. I would fly to New York on the weekend, hold meetings all week, then fly back to Los Angeles the following weekend. I think some years I did that routine 6 or 7 times. So it was that I flew to New York on Sunday, September 10th, 2001, with meetings lined up each day through the end of the week. Monday, we had meetings in Midtown, and Tuesday, we had meetings in Lower Manhattan, including a couple of meetings in the World Trade Center. I cannot remember why, but at the last minute, we shifted our meetings around, and we had our meetings downtown on Monday, including those 2 meetings in the World Trade Center. On Tuesday, we were to have meetings in Midtown, and I was to meet my client at her hotel on 36th Street at 9 a.m. I was staying at the Belvedere Hotel on West 48th Street. I had gotten up early, gone out to grab a bagel and coffee. After all, it is New York, and then gone back to my hotel room to prepare for the day's meetings. I'm not the type to turn the TV on in the morning, so when I left my hotel room about 10 minutes to 9 and walked to 8th Avenue to grab a cab, I had no idea what was happening. I cannot get a cab. Every cab that passed by was not in service. It seemed strange, but I did not think much of it. I just decided to walk to my client's hotel on 36th. As I walked, I heard sirens, many of them. Police cars, fire trucks, and other emergency vehicles were rushing down 8th Avenue headed towards Lower Manhattan. When I arrived at my client's hotel, I still did not know what was happening, and from the vantage point of the street level could not see the smoke and fire coming from the towers. I walked into my client's hotel and immediately noticed a large crowd around a TV in the lobby. I went over to see what everyone was looking at, and about 30 seconds after I arrived, the second plane crashed into the towers. I immediately tried to call my wife to let her know I was okay. My cell phone did not work. When I got back to my hotel, I found that the hotel landlines did not work either. They would not work for another 2 days. I think it was sometime on Thursday that I was finally able to let my wife know I was safe. With all my meetings canceled and with no phone, there was not much for me to do. As it turned out, I was not able to get a flight out of New York until the following Monday, but at the time I did not know when I could leave or when I could get hold of my family. So I spent the next few days watching what was happening on TV, reading. I always travel with 2 or 3 books, and sitting in an Irish bar on 8th Avenue right across from New York Fire Department Station Engine 54, Ladder 4, Battalion 9. That fire station lost every member they sent to the World Trade Center that day. And over the next few days, the show of flowers in front of the station grew and grew. New York was surreal. Anyone who has been to New York, or even seen in the movies, knows of the bumper-to-bumper traffic, pedestrians packing the sidewalks, and the constant noise of the city created by people and traffic. That week, New York was silent. No taxis, no buses, no cars. Occasionally, an emergency vehicle would pass by, and occasionally, someone on a skateboard or bicycle. Once phone service came back, I was able to contact a few colleagues in New York. As we could not fly out, Some are talking about getting out of the city, renting a car, and driving all the way to Los Angeles. I had dinner with an analyst that I knew who worked in one of the towers who had decided to work from home that day. I had lunch with my client who, as it happened, was a world-renowned cave rescue person and who was called up to search the underground subway tunnels for survivors. But for the most part, I sat in that Irish pub across from New York Fire Department Station Engine 54, Ladder 4, Battalion 9. From Midtown, you could not really see anything, and the news urged people to stay away from Ground Zero. For a couple of days, the wind blew the smoke and fumes away from Midtown, but then the wind turned around, and in addition to the silence, there was a terrible smell. I did leave New York the following Monday and got safely back to my very worried wife and children who were so happy to have me home. I settled back into my business routine of serving my clients. But things had changed. There were financial impacts to 9/11. Flying was more challenging. People were scared. Friends and colleagues talked about it happening again and which city and buildings would be next. I was angry. I had moved to the United States like many looking for economic opportunities. I was just another legal immigrant riding the gravy train. With 9/11, I came to realize that the gravy train I was riding was something special, something precious. That economic system that I was taking advantage of was unique to the United States, and a group of people were out to destroy it. That attack was not just against the World Trade Center. It was not just against America. It was against me, a participant in the economic miracle of the United States. And if you destroy the foundation of what is America, you destroy that miracle. It was not long after that I made the decision to become an American. I applied for citizenship for me, my wife, and my 2 daughters, and on March 25th, 2005, I stood with thousands of other new Americans in a building on the Los Angeles County Fairgrounds in Pomona, California, and swore allegiance to the United States of America. But to me, the day I really became an American was Tuesday, September 11th, 2001.